Hello everyone, welcome back to Plan and Body by Design. My name is Mario and today I'm excited to feature to you on how we can design a tree to a certain height. In today's episode, I'm going to feature to you a pine tree, which is the national tree of Korea. During my trip to Pusan, Korea, long time ago, I was inspired on how they did with their pine trees on their city streets. What they did is that their pine trees were formed into like an umbrella form. So that's inspiration. I brought it over here in the Pacific Northwest, that kind of inspiration. That's what I'm going to feature them to you today. I love trees, but sometimes it's an issue if you have trees that are really tall and it's hard to manage. And I hope that in this episode, learn something from it and gives you tips. If you love trees but you want to just maintain into a certain height, I hope that this will provide you an informed solution to those issues. I brought it over here, that kind of inspiration. What I've been doing is every year I've been trimming these pine trees that I planted. So I planted 4 of them in my yard. So I've been training them like an umbrella form. So what I did, I put a wire and trained them like an umbrella form on those branches. I prune them every year. I'm trimming over here like that. That's how I trim them. Having huge trees close to your house is sometimes it's a big issue. When there's a storm, the leaves and the branches of these trees goes into your roof of the house and it plugs your gutters. And so when they break, it's a big problem. I have lots of trees around my property, and these trees were already existed when we bought the property, and apparently some of the trees are already they're huge trees already. And I have 2 maple trees close to the house. One of the maple tree suddenly died, so what I have to do is to hire somebody to cut the tree in order to prevent from destroying the house. Hiring somebody to cut the tree is very expensive. So again, this is the other tree that it's planted in my yard. And so what I did, I put some wire, form these trees to be like an umbrella type. So what you have to do is to stretch the branches and then put a wire. So this is still a work in progress. And then what you have to do is to trim the branches. So anyway, this particular pine tree is an Australian pine, and it's a beautiful pine tree. Again, what I did is I formed the branches into like an umbrella type. Every year, I prune the top of the tree so that they won't grow that big, maintain them into a certain height. This is another tree that I did. 4 pine trees that I planted in our yard. Lower down the branches into a certain height that you want to form that umbrella type. I still have to form some of the branches over here. Pine trees were trained into like a semi-bonsai form. I was inspired by that technique where I used these pine trees to mimic that kind of inspiration. We have some issues of trees falling down all over. If you could see all the trees here, we got lots of huge trees all over around my neighborhood. And as you could see in that sequoia tree broke down from the top of the tree. You have to spend a bunch of money to cut down the trees. This kind of a tree form is an inspiration that I got it in Pusan, Korea.